Alright, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Javars and thank you for stopping by. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm just gonna do a quick video just briefly explaining my accounting career journey. So I'll start with, college and then go all the way up until where I am right now, being an accounting business owner. So let's get right into it. Alright, so starting off in college, I attended the University of Georgia where I got both my bachelor's and master's degree from there. So I graduated undergrad with accounting degree in 2021, so May of 2021. And then I did the master's program. It was only a year program and I did that, graduated in May of 2022. So it's May of 2022, I am 23 years old and it's the summer, so I'm just chilling. I just got both my master's and bachelor's degrees, so I'm good. But I don't start working until the following fall, so fall of 2022. Well, I guess it's not following, it's the same year, but you get what I'm saying. So I started working in November of 2022, and my first job, well, my first real job right out of college was at one of the big four firms. I'm not gonna say which one, but it doesn't matter. They're all the same in my opinion. Also, I want to mention that I did have one section of the CPA exam taken and passed before I started working. So I took audit and I passed it before I started working at one of the big four. So like I said, I started in November of 2022. I am working at one of the big four in tax. I was there in their business tax services practice and I worked there for a little over 2 years. Ultimately, my decision to leave that firm really just came down to I just didn't feel like I was learning and growing much there. I'll probably make a whole separate video on why I decided to leave Big Four and all of that. And I will add and say that I think this job, and it sucks because this was my first one, I think this job made me realize that working a 9 to 5 on like forever, I cannot rely on just one job to provide my income for me. So it was that company that I realized, yeah, I need to have some form of entrepreneurship down the road for me. At the time, I didn't know if that meant like fully owning a business, maybe doing like something on the side. And honestly, at this point, I'm still kind of figuring it out, which we'll get more to that later. So after leaving Big Four, I still stayed in public accounting because at the time, public accounting wasn't necessarily my issue. It was just the firm kind of. So I left Big Four and I went to a smaller public accounting firm, still working in tax. So just to give you all some perspective, at this point I am, I think, 25 years old, December of 2024, and I have just started a new job at a smaller public accounting firm. So working there, I actually really enjoyed my time there. I learned a lot. I got to see kind of a lot more what I want to see. So I got to work on individual returns. I got to work on, business returns as well. I got to work on, trusts, gift returns. These are definitely things that I did not see while working in tax at the Big Four. What I liked about this firm is it really gave me an idea of the types of things I would be doing if I ever did want to start my own accounting firm one day. I actually wish I stayed at that firm a little longer, but I had to get out. I left that firm after only 10 months. I know. We can't do nothing with this generation. But like I said, I really don't have anything negative to say about that company. I had to leave my own personal reasons. I had 3 reasons why I wanted to leave that company. Number one is because, like I said, all my experience thus far, and I've been in the industry at this point for about 3 years, has been strictly tax. And I knew that if I wanted to kind of diversify myself and give myself my best shot working in the accounting industry, I can't just only have tax experience. Unless, if you want to just stay in tax, then great, you can have a great career in tax. But I knew that wasn't what I wanted out of my career. The second reason was because at that point, I was just getting tired of public accounting. I was tired of the hours. I was tired of like the deadlines always. And the third reason is because at this point, I confirmed that I knew I wanted to start my own business. And when you're working at a public accounting firm, you have that conflict of interest clause where you can't do any type of accounting work on the side. So 3 reasons, and that was enough for me to say it's time to get up out of there. So like I said, I was only at that firm for about 10 months. I really enjoyed my experience there. I learned a lot, but it was time for me to get out there. So I applied and I got a role at a company. Basically, there's just like a large credit reporting company. And to clarify, this is the job that I'm still currently working at. So I started working at this company in August of 2025. So at this point, I am 26 years old. I actually just turned 27 this past January. So I've been working at this company for about 6-7 months, if I'm doing my math right. And so far, I really do like the company. I like my team. I like the work. The hours are a lot less, or a lot more manageable for sure. Of course, we have month close, so it gets a little bit more busy then, but it is nothing compared to how busy and like time consumed I was with working at public accounting. So I like it a lot. Now I will say this work is very different than what I'm used to, because of course most of my experience has been in tax, but now I'm doing like a revenue accounting. So that's kind of like more of a general accounting type of role. I will say that for whatever reason, people think that it's so hard to switch from accounting or switch from tax to accounting, but I did it just fine, like effortlessly, honestly. So it's very doable. So if you're watching this and you're kind of like, you're in tax and you want to switch, it's doable. Now I launched my accounting firm, Asking Financial Services, in November of 2025. So I did that because I wanted it to, have been started basically before tax season kind of rolled around. And I will say, I definitely will do another video where I kind of go more into depth about how business is going. But for time purposes right now, for me to have just started it, I think I'm doing pretty well in terms of, getting some clients, just learning the ropes, seeing what I like, what I don't like, and all of that. So I would say so far, I'm glad that I made the decision to kind of step out and do my own business. I will say it is sometimes difficult kind of managing like my 9 to 5 while also like having the business. But I'm sure to like, keep those separate. Like I'm not trying to do client stuff while I'm working and vice versa. But going back, so working at the company that I'm working at now, I actually can see myself staying there for a couple years, just because this job is relatively, I don't want to say easy, but it's definitely doable. Like it doesn't take too much brain power for me, which is perfect while I'm trying to kind of grow my business and just figure out what it is I want to do with my career. I know another part of this video I wanted to mention, like kind of where I see myself. To be honest, I'm still learning that, but I do know at some point in the near future I want to teach on a collegiate level. Like I want to teach accounting at a university. So I got to figure out, what that looks like for me, if it's possible for me to still do that while working my 9 to 5, and just, see what that looks like. But yeah, I didn't want this video to be super long. I just want to kind of come on here and give like my accounting journey from start to, present. I know when I was in college or early in my career, I wish there were videos like this out there. So I definitely wanted to, push it out there myself. If you have specific questions, definitely feel free to drop them in the comments, because, like I said, I made this very high level and vague because I didn't want this to be a super long video. If there's something you want me to elaborate more on, then maybe I'll make a separate video about that. But I appreciate y'all for watching, and make sure you stay tuned for more videos coming.